This is the sixth part of my book, I Hope You Die Soon, Words on Non-duality. A life left in ruins. In some ways, liberation may be considered to be a great catastrophe, which can leave your life in ruins. Everything previously considered important may be taken away, especially if the life previously led was the life of a spiritual seeker. Spiritual seeking fulfills so many needs. From it, I may get meaning, purpose, hope, help, friendship, support, and structure to my life as I work to pay for my next retreat. Even in a split second of awakening, all of this can disappear. For some people, it is possible after awakening to continue going through the meditations, to still attend the full moon meditations or the gatherings at the feet of the Guru for the crack, the friendship and the sense of community. But this can be risky. If the other devotees sense that you are no longer taking the search seriously, no longer treating the Guru or mantra or ritual or belief with a genuine sense of devotion, then you could be the next human sacrifice staked out in the sun. Or at least you may be ejected from the group or made to feel so uncomfortable that you feel forced to leave. And yet, liberation is what we yearn for. We want to lose everything, to be emptied out, to fall into the void. This is what we hope for, although we cannot imagine what it is. We long to disappear. Liberation is wonderful, but it is not wonderful for anyone. So there is no advantage to be gained by anyone in the disappearance of the self. The disappearance of the person is a death. So much of what the mind considers to be irrevocably a part of the person falls away. Hopes, memories, even the neuroses which we hate and yet which feel comfortably familiar. Relationship and meaning end, and suddenly this life is seen to have no purpose. All my beliefs, all my self-importance, all my sense of going somewhere end in a moment. My hopes of personal happiness and self-improvement vanish. This is both greatly feared and deeply longed for. Although I cannot imagine what life could be like when I am gone, or even that there could be a life when I am gone, something knows that this is the only possible redemption and salvation. I have to die for the pain of separation to end. This is why it is worth repeating the great blessing I was given. I hope you die soon. Natural and neurotic feelings. Seeing liberation brings neither a permanent state of bliss nor an end to suffering, only the end of personal suffering. Anything can arise in liberation, but there is a tendency for neurotic feelings to lessen or die away, while natural feelings continue to arise. Natural feelings include anger, sadness, fear, and happiness. In liberation, these simply arise and fall away again, and are seen for what they are. They may even become more powerful as they are no longer attenuated by the self and its neurosis. Neurotic feelings such as guilt, embarrassment, anxiety, or irritability tend to disappear in liberation, as they are no longer sustained by a belief in a person or in meaning, or in the possibility of personal success or failure. Hope and despair are, of course, gone. Although anything can arise in liberation, it is unlikely that boredom will. Boredom is an experience of the personal mind. In liberation, everything becomes fascinating. The shape of a hand, the taste of coffee, the sound of car tyres on a wet road. Boredom is presently unknown here. After liberation, which is really the death of the person, what remains is still a functioning body-mind with a character and patterns of behaviour. There will still be preferences and interests, character traits, perhaps eccentricities and foibles. The character may still prefer to drive a Honda rather than a Ford, to holiday in France rather than in Scotland, to eat their eggs boiled rather than poached. The idea of the spiritual being, perfectly poised in calm detachment, with no likes or dislikes, greeting everything with equanimity, is just another construct of the mind. It is a spiritual fairy tale, woven out of the need to see enlightenment as special and different, as being far removed from what I am today. It is fairly easy for a certain type of disciplined and ascetic character to cultivate a detachment which will be attractive to many seekers. This detached asceticism will attract those who feel that holiness and discomfort are nearer to divinity than devilment and silk sheets. But it has nothing to do with liberation. After liberation, the character may still be famously bad-tempered or fabulously lazy, or may insist on being at the airport 3 hours too early to make sure they catch their plane. Therapy and meditation. Some people, while searching, will go to a therapist. It is quite possible that therapy will make the person happier, at least for a while. R.D. Laing regarded therapy as a way for us to get out of our prison. He favoured therapies that help us to simply get up and walk out. The door of the prison is, in any case, always open, he said. He criticised therapies which encourage us to sit there and analyse why we are in prison. He could not see the point of someone sitting in a prison with the door wide open, but saying, "I refuse to leave until I understand in detail exactly why I was put in here." He was referring here to therapies that involve a lengthy examination of the past, or rather of the past in inverted commas, as the client and the therapist together construct it. Actually, therapy will never get us out of the prison that we think we are in. The prison is our sense of separation, and only liberation can reveal that there never was a prison in the first place. However, therapy may make the unreal prison more comfortable, perhaps considerably more comfortable. And for a person to spend their time making their prison more comfortable is a sensible thing to do. However, therapy will happen or it will not, and it may be seen that there is no one who can do anything about this. Meditation is another way of making the apparent prison more comfortable. Meditation can be delightfully relaxing, and it may gradually reduce the person's neuroses. But it is not going anywhere, and there is no one meditating. There is no one who is being purified or brought closer to enlightenment by it. I have taught meditation for many years, and I know that it can induce highly refined personal experiences. These are likely to be interpreted by the seeker as spiritual, as signs that purification is taking place and that enlightenment is coming nearer. If that is what is sought, that is what may be found. Although such experiences are no more valuable than eating toast, they are certainly no less valuable, and it may be seen that there is no one who either meditates or eats toast. Paradise is now. Until we lose our life, we spend the whole of it looking for paradise. Sometimes looking for paradise involves killing a lot of people by putting them to the sword, burning them at the stake, or blowing them to bits. Sometimes looking for paradise involves spending a great deal of time on our knees, beating ourselves with flails and eating a lot of gruel. Sometimes looking for paradise involves ministering to the sick, adopting Romanian orphans, or beating our version of God into the heads of heathen peoples. Often, looking for paradise involves working very hard at a job we don't very much like, so that we can buy a Mercedes, a house by the sea, or a Rolex watch. Much of this is noble, much of it ignoble. All of it is divine. Often there is an expectation that paradise will not be found until death. The mind creates wonderful stories about what this will be like. It can generate versions of these stories endlessly. Some may include several virgins and some bowls of dates. Some may involve the playing of harps and the endless adoration of God. Often they involve beautiful landscapes. Some years ago, I heard a radio program in which a sweet old Tasmanian man talked about a near-death experience he had when he was 14. His story involved a lush green landscape by a river and meetings with dead relatives. He asked a stranger in a matter-of-fact way, "If this is heaven, where's Jesus then?" To be told, "Oh, he's just over there, down by the river, talking to some people." But a near-death experience is not a death experience, and no one ever gives a first-hand account of one of those on the radio. Always there is the expectation that paradise will not be found until the future. Rarely is it noticed that by definition, the future never comes. The mind cannot help searching for paradise. It is its function. The mind is a device for obscuring the fact that paradise is now, by putting it off endlessly through the phenomenon of dissatisfaction. There is nothing wrong with the mind doing this. It is simply what it must do for as long as there is a person. In liberation, it is seen that this is already paradise. The ticking of a clock is paradise. The taste of a grape is paradise. The rustling of leaves is paradise. The warmth of the foamy washing up water is paradise. The sensation of feet brushing against carpet is paradise. What the mind finds boring is seen as wonderful. This is an ever-changing, never-changing miracle.